Universal Studios Beijing is set to be the next theme park to join Universal's lineup. The project was announced on October 13th, 2014, and groundbreaking took place on October 31st, 2016. Now, the resort is only 6 months away from its scheduled opening in May 2021. The resort will feature its own version of Universal CityWalk, 2 hotels, and a theme park with 7 lands themed to different Universal IPs. Over the past year, we've been learning more and more about what exactly this park will feature. And just a few days ago, Universal released an article and a new video outlining some new details and some of the names of the park's top attractions. Good day everyone, my name is Parker and welcome to Theme Park Parlay here on Adventures with Parker. Today we're going to discuss everything we currently know about the attractions coming to Universal Studios Beijing. There's a lot to unpack today, so without any further ado, let's talk theme parks. Okay, let's start with the land that I'm personally most excited for, Jurassic World Isla Nublar. Nearly every Universal park has a land dedicated to Jurassic Park, and some iteration of the Jurassic Park River Adventure. However, Beijing's Jurassic World will break this trend, and it'll be the first Jurassic land fully themed to the newer Jurassic World trilogy. The star attraction of the land is Jurassic World Adventure, a dark ride in which guests will board the all-terrain luxury automatic system, also known as Atlas, for an adventure into the wilderness of Nublar Island. Along the way, you'll encounter the T-Rex, Velociraptors, and the Indominus Rex. The ride system is basically the same dark ride system that you can find on Spider-Man or the Transformers ride at Universal Orlando. But oh my goodness guys, if anything will convince me to book a flight to Beijing sometime in the future, I bet this will be it. From what I hear, Jurassic World the ride at Universal Studios Hollywood is pretty good, but by reusing the old flume ride from Jurassic Park, they were pretty limited in the story that they could tell. But now, Universal has complete creative freedom to take guests on whatever adventure they want, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. But that's not all for Isla Nublar. The land will also feature a restaurant called Hammond's, the Innovation Center, and the Aviary, which will feature an inverted Mack-powered coaster, similar to Arthur and the Minimoys at Europa Park, as well as Camp Jurassic, which will probably feature a few interactive play structures like the one in Orlando. Now, I'm curious as to why they went with Camp Jurassic and not Camp Cretaceous to coincide with the Netflix animated series, but then again, this is only concept art, so the actual name may change between now and May. The second major land at the park is Transformers Metrobase. According to Universal, Metrobase is a Titan-sized transformer the size of a small city that has located himself on this energon-rich location in Beijing, a spot deemed suitable to become the next Beijing headquarters. So basically, the land itself is an entire freaking transformer. Anyways, here, guests can become agents who will fight together with the Autobots to protect Earth from the Decepticons. Now, I'm not real big on the Transformers franchise, but this sounds pretty dang cool. The level of thought and immersion that went into this land story is insane. Now, as far as attractions go, it seems like Universal Studios Beijing went up to Universal Orlando and was all like, hey, can I copy your homework? And Universal Orlando was like, sure, just change some things so we don't get caught. And Universal Beijing said, okay, and then went ahead and made a Transformers version of everything at Marvel Superhero Island. Seriously, it'll have a nearly identical clone of the Incredible Hulk coaster called Decepticoaster, which, by the way, it looks very intimidating with this black color scheme. A teacup-style attraction called Bumblebee Boogie, which will be similar to Stormforce Accelerator, and Transformers Battle for the Allspark, which will essentially be a clone of Transformers The Ride, which in turn uses Spider-Man's ride system. That being said, the land looks incredible, and it brings some fresh ideas to a couple of Universal's best attractions. After saving the Earth from the Decepticons, guests can refuel with some food from the Energon Power Station. Next up is Kung Fu Panda, Land of Awesomeness, an entirely indoor land set in the Valley of Peace. The land will feature a few family flat rides and Kung Fu Panda, Journey of the Dragon Warrior. This will be a boat ride in which guests join Po in a fight against Tian Sha. From the video, we can see that it'll feature a few screens, but it may contain some animatronics as well. Guests will be able to find some notable locations from the films as well, such as the Jade Palace and the Tree of Heavenly Wisdom. Minion Land will be an area dedicated to the Despicable Me franchise. It'll feature the iconic Minion Mayhem ride and Super Silly Fun Land, another indoor area with some smaller family rides. The land will also feature a show called Sing on Tour, based on the movie Sing. Now, this is interesting because obviously Sing isn't a part of the Despicable Me universe, although both films were created by Illumination, so really, this is more of an Illumination land than a Minion Land. Honestly, I could see Universal adding the Secret Lives of Pets ride from Universal Studios Hollywood in a future expansion and just renaming and retheming the land. Either way, the land looks like it'll be super, silly, and fun for the entire family. No Universal Park would be complete without the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Beijing will be getting the basic Hogsmeade attractions: Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, Flight of the Hippogriff, and nighttime projections on Hogwarts Castle. That being said, there is room for an expansion if they wanted to add Hagrid's motorbike adventure in the future. Or they could create something entirely new. We'll have to see how Universal gives Beijing their own twist on the Wizarding World. For the first time ever, WaterWorld will be getting its own dedicated land in a theme park. Although, it's not much of a land if we're being honest. The only major attraction is WaterWorld, a live SeaWars spectacular, the same stunt show that can be found at Universal Parks in Hollywood, Japan, and Singapore. The land will also be rounded out with some WaterWorld themed shopping and dining experiences. Last but not least, we have Hollywood, the first land you'll see when you enter Universal Studios Beijing. The land will feature some shopping and dining, as well as lights, camera, action, a special effects show featuring Chinese director Zhang Yimou and American director Steven Spielberg. A similar version of the show exists at Universal Studios Singapore, and it's basically a bigger, better, more souped-up version of the old Twister ride. However, they're making this version of the show unique to Beijing by adding in Chinese director Zhang Yimou in addition to Steven Spielberg, the perfect combination of Eastern and Western film. And there you have it, the opening lineup of attractions at Universal Studios Beijing. Like I mentioned earlier, the resort will also feature its own version of CityWalk, which will have some CityWalk favorites like Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, Cowfish, and Red Oven Bakery. The resort will also have two hotels: the Universal Grand Hotel, which will double as the entrance to the theme park, and the Nuo Resort Hotel. Another interesting thing to note is that the resort will supposedly feature Face ID technology. So through the use of scanners, your face is all that's needed to buy tickets, enter the park, rent lockers, and purchase food. It's kind of like the Tapu Tapu system from Volcano Bay, except instead of a bracelet on your wrist, it's, your face. So yeah, that's some pretty exciting stuff. What are you most looking forward to when Universal Studios Beijing opens? Do you plan on visiting the resort sometime in the not too distant future? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and pressing the bell icon for more theme park, travel, local, and outdoor adventures. If you do, I would really appreciate it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and all that wonderful YouTube stuff. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ADVParker. And remember, the adventure is calling.